After staring Elon Musk down in a fair 1v1 fight, is the CEO of Meta about to bring the CEOs of Google and OpenAI into the ring? Ex-alien, now upgraded tech gigachad Mark Zuckerberg has announced that they have started integrating their brand new AI assistant powered by the new Llama 3 model into all of their social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp.
All right, big day here.
And we think it could be a huge change for how people find information online and be an interesting opportunity for marketers. So let's break this story down for you. Now, before we get into the weeds, let's start off with some clarification between Meta AI and Llama 3. Llama 3 is the open source large language model that Meta has built and trained over the last several years, and Meta AI is the chat assistant and user interface to Llama 3 that Meta has built for their products. The simplest way to think about it is that Llama 3 is like GPT-4 and its API, and Meta AI is like the ChatGPT interface. Which brings up the next obvious questions. Does Llama 3 compete with GPT-4? Well, not yet. So far, Meta has released their 8 billion and 70 billion parameters models, and they're more like GPT 3.5++. They outperform the model in almost every benchmark, but at this point, GPT 3.5 is almost 2 years old, so you can't really hold it against OpenAI. However, Meta has a 400 billion parameter model that is training at the moment, and the feeling is that it's going to compete well against GPT-4 and Claude 3 Opus. Let's see what happens when they release it later this year. Okay, now with all these boring numbers out of the way, let's talk about what it's like to actually use. And the answer is, it's pretty good, for a bunch of reasons. First and foremost, accessibility. If you use a Meta network and you are in an English-speaking country, Meta AI is probably already available to you. It's currently driving the search functionality on mobile for Facebook and Instagram, being tested as a beta in WhatsApp. It's already integrated into Messenger. Plus, the very handy and free Meta.ai chatbot website is pretty good to use. Also, if you're using Facebook on desktop like my great aunt Kathy, you can access Meta AI via Messenger chat. And the results that Meta AI provides as a general chatbot, they're pretty good. They're not perfect, but pretty good. And Meta having the reputation they have about privacy, they have gone through great lengths to explain that the model was not trained using the user's personal information. What does that mean in real life? Well, despite knowing where our editor Sean probably lives, when he asks Meta AI what are the best pizza places closest to his house, it actually asks him for his postcode, even though they have the information. It would be amazing if you could opt in some of your info in exchange for instantly personalized responses, so it could give the best places right away, and we believe it's probably on the table for a future update to make the chatbot better. But for now, they're maintaining a good level of privacy, which is good to see, especially for Meta. However, they do admit that anything you've posted publicly on their products, so Facebook and Instagram, they have used to train their model. This is a massive advantage that Meta has over OpenAI and Google. Unrestricted, free access to the content published by Meta users over the last 2 decades. It's almost hard to understand how valuable this dataset is for training an AI model, especially as competitors are running out of internet to crawl. I mean, Google and OpenAI can crawl the open internet, and so can Meta if they wanted to. But Meta can also then train their model against the entirety of authentic picture, posts, and engagement that 3.98 billion users have posted over the years. And this is only available to them, unlike Google, for example, who has to rely on Reddit as per their recent partnership and rank them on top of every single search query to generate data to train their AI model. And then with Meta AI, they've pulled off another magic trick. They've integrated Bing and Google Search into the chatbot. Yeah, that's right. When you use Meta AI, they can send you out to Google and Bing to get search results with a query that they've crafted for you, and they use the info found on the top ranking pages to save you a click if you don't want to click. When you use it, it's an impressive and elegant solution that works similarly to Microsoft Co-pilot, but we notice there's a lot less links out than Microsoft does. And on top of that, it can also return content from Meta. So if you search for recipes, for example, it can return reels as a result that neither Google nor OpenAI get to use. Plus, it's authentic, user-generated content that people actually engage very much with. Oh, and did I mention? Llama 3 is open source. You can go and download the source code and make changes and fork it if you want and do whatever you want with it if you have the skills and talent. Heck, if you have 10,000 NVIDIA GPUs laying around, you could train your own model if you wanted to using it. Now, I know most people will not do that, but this, for example, ensures that the prices of AI services don't get insanely marked up by the likes of OpenAI and Google, who have closed models once they have achieved mass adoption, because there are are free alternatives that are competitive with their models, and anyone could spin up a server offering Llama 3 as a service at a competitive rate if margins were to become excessive. So while Meta is clearly looking to monetize their push into AI, they are at least contributing something back publicly and keeping the competition in check, which is commendable. For now, Meta's AI chatbot is pretty good at carrying on conversations, giving you high-quality, succinct answers to questions, and it formats things nicely. But after using the chatbot for a while, it's not quite on the level of ChatGPT+. Maybe I've been spoiled, but Meta AI has a much shorter context of just 4,096 tokens as opposed to 128,000 with ChatGPT+. So you can't have long conversations with it without it forgetting where you started in the first place. In reality, it's quite comparable to the free version of ChatGPT, both in context length and quality of answers. And while it does create images unlike the free version of ChatGPT, at this point, the quality of the images is fairly limited. We asked it to create a photorealistic image in 16:9 dimensions of polar bears playing in an NHL hockey game. And it gave us back a few images, with this one being the best, and it has the ability to animate it, which is kind of nice. And I mean, you could nitpick about the bears not holding the stick properly, the color of the ice, and a few other details, but the real issue at this stage is that it can't do 16:9 properly, probably because it's been trained on Instagram stole images. And also, it places that ugly watermark on every image. To be fair, ChatGPT's attempt with this was also pretty terrible, but at least it was 16:9. Anyway, neither DALL-E nor Llama are anywhere close to the capabilities of Midjourney or Stable Diffusions in terms of generating images that will make boomers' hearts melt on Facebook. Check out our video on the topic in the corner if you want to learn more about that. So, now that we've looked at what this AI assistant can do, what does it mean for the market? I think the main event here is just how accessible Meta AI is, and they have almost 4 billion potential users. With things like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, you have to go on another website, register an account so you can use them. Which means most people never bothered using any of them, even the free ones. With Meta AI, it's built right into Facebook and Instagram, two of the most used apps on the planet, and that's going to build strong habits in many people. You type in their search box and there it is. Facebook and Instagram have always had terrible search experiences, but this kind of deep AI integration could make their search pretty darn good. And if you think about it, a better, more integrated search experience within sticky social network is a pretty compelling offer, similar to how 40% of Gen Z already uses TikTok or Instagram for searches instead of Google. Think about it. You see one of your high school friends posting about their most recent trip to Bali and you're wondering what the trip might cost you. What's easier? Option A, you can open a new tab on your browser, go to a travel site or search for it on Google, then click on the website, then do another search there and find your ticket. Or option B, stay in the same app, open the search function and ask how much a trip from Sydney to Bali costs and get the answer right away. You see how that would be a lot easier and more compelling than the old way of getting information? And that's only gonna get better as you can ask questions contextually when viewing an image or post. You could imagine this query becomes just how much to get there. And the AI understands the image and knows what this is and actually gives you the price of the ticket. And probably they're going to integrate their ad system in there and advertisers will be the booking link that is under the response. Again, Facebook and Instagram are some of the stickiest, highest user engagement applications on the web. If they make it easy to search for information or get answers to questions right within the app, that's going to inevitably steal a lot of traffic from Google search. Now, like all platforms who heavily rely on ad revenue, Meta is likely to favor their own platform content rather than external websites in the answer to keep the users on the platform, show them more ads, and make more money. I know this sounds bad, but it still opens a range of brand new opportunities. Creating content just for Facebook or Instagram that performs well in AI search and those platforms could suddenly become incredibly viable and lucrative. Social traffic to Reels, for example, could become evergreen and steady, similar to YouTube or search, for example, instead of the big spike of traffic and then nothing that it is today. So it's not only conceivable, it's probable that content creators who want to reach their target audience are going to have to gain the skills in driving traffic not just from Google search, but also AI integrated search in apps like Facebook and Instagram, but also at the operating system level. I mean, Microsoft Co-pilot, powered by Bing, is aggressively being built out in Windows. They even recently replaced the Windows key with a Co-pilot key on new laptops. And it's inevitable that Apple will announce something similar for Siri and Spotlight at WWDC in June. Now, as always, the big loser in this story is the open web, as the referral traffic is going down with AI search becoming widely available on every platform. It kills search traffic by 1,000 cuts, really. To me, it's becoming clearer that marketers will need to focus more and more on marketing on these platforms rather than their website to reach their target audience. The silver lining, though, is that AI search on social is likely to make your social content behave a lot more like a blog that can drive steady traffic and leads instead of spiky traffic and then nothing. Thus making this more of a transition in content marketing rather than the death of it. So, what do you think? Are you about to switch to Instagram as your default search engine? Do you think people are even gonna use these AI functions instead of Google? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. And if you've made it this far in the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing this video with a friend, as this lets us know which videos you enjoy the most. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy this one, where we show you how people are using AI images to trick boomers on Facebook and make a bunch of money.